this information age, and I call it the communication age, and networking and everything we do. It's about who do you know and who they know. So we're in a digital age today with viral presence, viral marketing. And so we're connecting on LinkedIn, where we're talking second, third, fourth degree contacts and on like that. So we're hoping everybody around the world can help us plunge into California and position this free specialized phone program, these phones, and get them to the folks in California that they're intended to be with. Now, our opportunity today is cultivated kind of in a backdrop. It's a little separate from what today's presentation is, but a public service announcement on our organization's efforts in the veteran community. We are aligned with, and we have an ally, Prosperity Pathways, which is providing us the podcasting platform today. And we have a nonprofit initiative, Onward and Upward, which serves people who are experiencing homelessness. And it's founded by a lady veteran, Anna Maria Bliven. And so we're very devoted into all this. And it's through these veteran intentions that we scheduled this opportunity, because we think that there's probably some veterans in California that could take benefit to this. But we're doing it as an exclusive episode because we don't want to limit it. That if people are saying, I don't know any vets, that then people don't, do anything with this. So again, all of this powered by and made possible by Transforming Media Network, and our collaborative element is the World of Ability Podcast Network. So again, we're pleased to have Teresa Tong here and Carmen Garcia all ready to go with a PowerPoint presentation, and we're going to learn a lot. So get out your notebooks, take your screenshots, watch the video marker in terms of where this information is, so you can go back to it right on the minute. Take it away, Carmen. The show is yours.
Thank you, Kurt. So happy to be here, and Happy New Year, everyone. May this year be the best ever. Lots of challenges in the past, but looking forward to the future. My name again is Carmen. I'm an outreach specialist with California Phones, and I'll let Teresa introduce herself briefly.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having us here, Kurt and Emily. It's such a pleasure to be here. As Carmen said, Happy New Year, everyone. We look forward to 2022. And like Carmen, I'm an outreach specialist here in Southern California. She's in Central. So we're here to share our information with you.
Thank you. And, they have described California Phones as one of the best kept secrets here in California, because even though this program has been around for over 40 years, there are still many Californians that don't know about us. So thank you for the opportunity to reach out to not just Californians, but others. And so just to get started, on my screen, you see my contact information. But we're going to go ahead and just, let you know why we're here, what we do, how you can reach us if you have any questions, and why our telephones are, what can help you stay connected. So California Phones is a state-funded program. We provide free specialized telephones for people that have difficulties hearing, seeing, moving, speaking, or remembering. There are not, the only requirements for our program are that you live in California, that you already have telephone service established, and that you have one of the difficulties I just mentioned. So, though we're a state program, that's a little different from others, not many other requirements to worry about. In order to be eligible for our telephones, there's a short application that needs to be completed. And there are some professionals that are able to sign the application on your behalf, just to verify that you have one of the difficulties that we mentioned. And so these professionals are, of course, medical doctors, but physician assistants and nurse practitioners can sign off on your application. And then the other professionals that you see listed here as well. The application is very easy to complete. All we want to know is that you meet the requirements that we talked about. Once it's completed, you can either turn it in person to one of our offices, but you can also fax it, mail it, scan it over to us. The reason why we prefer that you visit us in person is because you would have the opportunity to see the telephones. We can show you all the ones that you're eligible for. You can try them out, choose one, and take it with you that very same day. But of course, that may not be feasible for everybody. Right now, you're seeing a map of the state of California, and you can see the offices that we have throughout the state. So like Teresa said, she's from the Southern California office, and I'm in the Central Valley. If there's an office close to you, please come by and visit. Now, here are the 800 numbers that you can call if you have any questions at all about our program. Maybe you'd like to ask for an application. We can mail that to you. You might want to give our phone number out to your friend, your neighbor, and we have various language lines. So, maybe your neighbor speaks Vietnamese and that's the number you want to give them. But let's say they speak French and you don't see a French line here on this slide. They can always call our English language line and we will get an interpreter for them. And I'm going to move around in my slides real quickly. I do want to show you some of our phones. And when I talked about the requirements, I do want to emphasize that there are no age or income requirements to worry about with our program. So that's not a challenge for anybody there.
And Carmen, I just want to add, there's no insurance requirements too.
Exactly. Thank you for that, Teresa. No insurance requirements. All right. So I'm going to go back and just tell you why our phones are free and how this program got started. I mentioned that it was over 40 years ago, and we're actually part of legislation. People came together and, they wanted equal access. The deaf wanted to be able to communicate. So that's what we started providing, was what we call a teletypewriter. And the program is funded through a surcharge or a tax on everybody's phone bill. So if you live in California, you'll notice a surcharge or a tax on your phone bill. That's where the funds come from to provide these telephones. So I would not hesitate to request one if you struggle again with the hearing, vision, mobility, memory, or speech. Because if you have any of those challenges, using a standard telephone may be difficult, slightly difficult, or a huge challenge. Again, just depending on what you're struggling with. But if you think of someone that's a quadriplegic or someone that has speech problems and cannot communicate easily, that's where we come in.
I just want to also point out, because it's different levels. So people that wear glasses, they don't think they qualify. They're like, I don't need it. Or, someone that has arthritis in their fingers, they may not think about it because they think, well, I'm not bedbound, I'm not in a wheelchair. So we want to let people know there's different levels of need. So everyone can pretty much qualify.
Right. Well, if you think of someone that is not legally blind or blind, but they use glasses, and you take those off at night to go to bed, right? And what if there's an emergency in the middle of the night and you need to be able to see your telephone to dial 911? That's the kind of thing you want to think about. And so talking about telephones for people with vision difficulty, here's one of our telephones with the big numbers, good contrast so that you can easily see the buttons that you're dialing. And you probably can't tell by the picture here, but there are Braille characters on it. And this telephone in particular has what we call a talkback feature. So as you're pressing the numbers, it's going to voice to you what number you just pressed. So if the numbers are still a little blurry for you because of your vision difficulties and you're not sure whether you're pressing the 4 or the 5, it's going to voice it to you so that you don't end up dialing the wrong number. And then of course we've got telephones with lighted keypads and speakerphones. We've got some cordless phones that are pretty basic. very easy to use. But the cordless phones are convenient for people that use canes, walkers, wheelchairs, because it will allow you to carry that handset wherever you are. You're not having to rush to a telephone that has a cord on it. And if you use any of those walking devices, it's going to take you a little while to get to a corded phone, right? So the cordless ones are meant to be with you at all times. If you're going to go outside and water your plants, or you're going to sit and watch TV for a while, you want to keep that handset next to you. So again, basic cordless phones, but then we also have some that are super specialized. We call them our remote operation phones, so that someone that is paralyzed can still answer and make their own phone calls. What we do is that we match you up with some type of a device that you can operate. So just imagine how someone's quality of life would improve when they're able to communicate on their own. We've got telephones for people that have a hard time remembering phone numbers. So this is a what we call a photo phone. So what you do is you insert pictures of people that you call often, or you might want to just put a little symbol there, like a symbol to your pharmacy or your doctor, the fire department, so that when you want to call, all you have to do is pick up the handset and press that picture or that symbol. And you're automatically connected. You're not having to remember phone numbers. And this telephone always reminds me of my mom, because we recently got this one for her. Initially, she had a hearing loss, so we got her an amplified phone. But then we noticed that she was starting to forget phone numbers. I help her with her bill, so I would review her phone bill, and I would notice that she was constantly misdialing by a digit or two. So this photo phone has worked out wonderfully for her. She's got 5 kids, so there's enough space there for all of our pictures, and she's able to communicate with us, to dial out to us easily. Teresa, is there anything you want to add before I move on?
No, but I mean, we can show them also the Panasonic. I think is a really good phone to show too, or talk about afterwards.
Okay. Yes, I'll do that at the end. Thank you. And by the way, if someone does have memory difficulties, but they need pictures that are much larger than this because of their vision problems, we do have what we call a photo dialer. So on that one, you insert pictures that are wallet size. So you'll be able to easily identify the faces, and that photo dialer will work with any telephone.
And we also have the voice dialer too.
Voice dialer. You can just ask your phone to dial Teresa Tong, and it's gonna dial her number without you having to press any buttons.
Yes, I just wanted to also mention that each person can
Teresa, we can barely hear you.
Oh, I wanted to mention that each person can qualify to get a telephone and an accessory. So they can get 2 pieces of equipment.
That's right. So say you have a hearing loss and you need a super loud phone, but you also need the photo dialer to help you dial out. You can get the loud telephone and the photo dialer. Thank you, Teresa. Now, our amplified phones are, I would say, maybe the most popular ones. And again, it's not only older adults that have a hearing loss, there's also children and young adults. So our amplified phones not only ring louder, they also have flashing lights to catch your attention when your phone is ringing. And the incoming voices are up to 5 times louder than on a standard phone. But it's not just the volume that's important when someone has a hearing loss, it's also the clarity. So our phones have what is known as a tone control button that is going to help with the clarity. So it changes the tone or the pitch of the incoming voice, so that with our telephones, the conversations are not just louder, but clear for someone that has a hearing loss. And our telephones, most of them are compatible with hearing aids, and they have the speakerphone feature, which is convenient because if you have a hearing loss and you set the phone on one ear, then you're only using one ear to listen. But if you use a speaker button or the speakerphone, then you can use both ears to listen to the conversation. And by the way, we also have caption phones. So that means that you have a large screen on your telephone, and you're going to be reading what your caller is saying. Instead of relying on your hearing, you will be reading on the screen what your caller is saying. I mentioned that the program started off by providing TTYs or teletypewriters over 40 years ago. And this is what they look like. So you'll notice it has a whole keyboard, no handset, and we're still providing these. So for someone that uses a TTY, what happens is that you need an operator to facilitate the communication. So if I can direct your attention to the 3 yellow circles at the top of the screen, you'll notice that there's one non-TTY user. So that would be someone like myself. I don't have a hearing loss. I'm not deaf. I can speak on my own. But then I do have a coworker. His name is Skippy. So he would be represented by the yellow circle on my right. And if I needed to communicate with Skippy, what I would do is I would dial 711 to get an operator on the line with us. And once the operator lets me know, or once the operator is on the line with us, then I dial Skippy's number. And whatever I say, the operator is going to type it so that Skippy can read it on his TTY. And Skippy's reply, he's going to type it into his TTY, and the operator is going to voice it to me. So the California Relay Service is the service that allows a TTY user, someone that's deaf or hard of hearing, to communicate with someone that does not have a TTY. And that is a free service to both users. It's completely free. It's available 24/7 in English and in Spanish. Now, people that have speech impairments are also able to take advantage of our telephones. We've got things like this telephone that's pictured here that has an outgoing speech amplification feature. But we also have more specialized devices like our anti-stuttering device. We have artificial larynx, many others. So it just depends on what type of speech impairment you have. But please don't hesitate to inquire about how we might be able to help you. And similar to the California Relay Service that helps TTY users, we also have what is called speech-to-speech, which is also a operator that is assisting with communication so that those that cannot speak clearly enough to be understood can still communicate. Speech-to-speech is available 24/7 and also free. And so up to this point, you have noticed that all of our phones are landline phones. Remember, we started over 40 years ago, so that's all we had, right? Or landline phones. Many people still use them, so we're still providing them. But in the recent years, we have also started to provide cell phone accessories that will help you stay connected. So say that you only use a cell phone, but you have a hearing loss and you're not able to hear clearly on your cell phone. We have amplifiers that will connect to your own cell phone. So what we hear our customers tell us quite often is that they use the speaker on their cell phone because it's a little louder than just pressing it or holding it next to their ear. So with the speaker phone, it's a bit louder, but they still can't have private conversations and they're still not able to understand or hear as clearly as they would like to. So the devices that you see pictured here on this slide are devices that connect to your cell phone via Bluetooth. So as long as your cell phone has Bluetooth technology, you can connect to these devices. And so, for example, the handset that is pictured there, what I would do is if I needed one of these, when my cell phone rings, this device is also going to ring. So my cell phone rings, the handset rings. The handset is going to ring much louder than my cell phone so that I can hear it. But then what I want to do is answer my cell phone call on this handset so that the extra volume and clarity is there. It's a portable amplifier, so you can take it with you and you're going to travel, you're going to go out to dinner. You want to carry both pieces with you, your cell phone and the handset, so that you've got that extra amplification. And then the second accessory that's pictured here is what we call a neck loop, so that connects to your cell phone as well. And since we're talking about cell phones, I do also want to let you know that our program provides free smartphone trainings. So if you want to learn how to use your either Android or iPhone a little better, maybe you want to know how to increase the letters on your text messages so that you can see them a little easier if you have vision problems. We'll show you how to do that. Again, these classes are free. Right now they're virtual, but we are hoping to go back to in-person in the near future. And Teresa, if you wouldn't mind including in the chat box, if you haven't done so already, would you mind including the flyer about those classes?
Okay, I'll do that. Also want to mention we do have the Bluetooth Panasonic too. It's a black Panasonic that can pair with your smartphone. So those of you that don't have a landline anymore can ask for that piece of equipment. Something exciting that we've had recently, I don't know if Carmen, it's okay to add this, but we have a piece called the X-Link. So that makes all of our landline phones being able to connect with a smartphone. So if you don't have a landline anymore, you can also get other equipment in our program. You're not limited to just the Bluetooth pieces that we showed you.
That's right. Thank you for that reminder, Teresa. That's the newest piece of equipment that our program is providing. So it's just a small little box that, again, like Teresa said, it connects to your cell phone via Bluetooth. And then you're able to connect a landline phone to that box. So it's working off your cell phone service, but you have maybe something like this, a landline phone that's got the big numbers so that it's easier for you to dial. And then you've got the extra volume if you have a hearing loss. All right, anything else you want to add, Teresa?
I was looking for the flyer. I can't think of anything right now, but did you want should we show the website?
You know what, why don't I just briefly show the map again? I want to go ahead and just remind you of where we're at right here. So we've got offices in Redding, Sacramento, Berkeley, San Francisco, San Jose, Fresno, Marina, Santa Barbara, Glendale, Riverside, West Covina, Orange, and San Diego. Now you'll notice on the slides, there's a little star or a little box next to the city. So please note that some of our offices are open full time, which means we're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. But some of our part-time offices are only open on certain days of the month because what we do is we partner with other organizations. And so, for example, in Marina, we're at the Vet Center and we're opened on the second Friday of the month. Teresa, do you remember what hours Riverside, no, not Riverside, West Covina's opened?
West Covina is every second, third, and fourth Tuesday of the month from 9 to 12 and then 12 to 3. We close for lunch.
Thank you. So I would suggest that you call our 800 number before you visit, just to make sure you have the correct hours of operation. And as I mentioned, you can always call our 800 number to request an application, but you can also visit our website at californiaphones.org. When you visit our website, you can either download the application and even fill it out right then and there before you print it. You can also chat with us if you have any questions, but you can also see all the telephones and devices that we have to offer. So say you have a hearing loss, you can click on a hearing loss and then you're going to see everything that's going to help you in regards to communicating over the telephone. You'll also see the addresses to our offices on the website. And what am I missing, Teresa? What else are they able to do on there?
On the website, you can just, everything you mentioned, see all the equipment that we provide. even like down to the size and the weight. You have a lot of families that come and they say, this is what my mom wants. They bring it home and the mom says, I only have this little small table, or someone says it's too heavy, they can't hold the handset. So we have different descriptions like that, detailed descriptions, so it can help a family that maybe they can't come in to see us personally. They can make that assessment before actually choosing a phone.
Yes, thank you. And that reminds me, so if you're not able to visit one of the offices, we will give you a call when we get your application and it's been processed. We complete a short assessment over the telephone to help you decide which telephone is best for you, and then we ship it at no charge. But if maybe you are not going to be able to set up the telephone when you get it because you have limited mobility, or you have severe vision problems and you're not going to be able to program the telephone on your own, we can send what we call field advisors out to your home to set up the telephone for you, to show you how to use it, program as much as possible, and just make sure you're ready to use it before we leave. That is a possibility. And of course, during the pandemic, we're taking all the safety precautions to keep everybody safe.
I also wanted to let everyone know that we are available to do presentations as our outreach staff. We do also what we call distribution events. So sometimes we partner with audiologists or other certifying agents that were listed, and perhaps we can go to a senior center or to their office, and they can sign the form and we can actually give out the equipment on site. So that way we can also train whoever is getting the equipment. So when they go home, they feel more comfortable using the equipment. It's not like they get a piece of equipment and they're like, what do I do with this? How do I start? Right. So some people are more visual. They like to, learn by watching and learning, by watching in person. So.
Yeah. Teresa, and by the way, do you remember the website where our listeners or viewers can go if they live in another state but need something similar to our program? Again, this is a California program, so you have to reside in California, but there are similar programs in other states.
Yes, I'm going to put that in the chat along with our contact information.
So Teresa's going to put that in the chat box.
Yeah. So originally there was a tedpa.org website, but we were told that was currently down, so that's why I have a different website up here. So
I can share, Teresa, what you put in the flyer that you put in the chat. But Carmen, if you want to I'm not sure if everybody would have seen about when you held up the phone and were talking on the phone, showing about that.
Yeah, so basically what happened as we did the show, Teresa, you were talking, and Carmen, you held up a phone, and we have the video on speaker view. So Teresa was speaking, we saw her, and Carmen, you held up the phone. So Carmen, if you want to take the microphone and like revisit that phone and narrate so that you'll come up in the video that everybody can see, because nobody saw the phone you held up. If you want to do that again.
Got it. Thank you for that. So Teresa was talking about this phone here. It looks like a regular landline phone, cordless landline phone, but this one says Bluetooth on the bottom. So that means that you do not need to have a landline. You don't have to pay for telephone service landline. As long as you have a cell phone that you can connect this one to via Bluetooth, this is going to help you if you have a hearing loss. So again, when my cell phone rings, this one will also ring, and you can pick up your call on this one for the extra volume and clarity. Now, this one is only for home use because you do have to connect it to the electricity. So this is for someone that needs amplification when they're at home. The other little handset that I demonstrated earlier, that is a portable one. So this one you can take with you wherever you go. Okay, that's the difference between the two. This one is for home use, The other one is a portable cell phone amplifier.
I want to point out also on that particular phone, there's a feature on there called slow. So if the person they're talking to is talking too fast, they can actually slow it down a little bit. So a lot of people like that function, especially those that are hard of hearing. On the Panasonic version, though, the answer machine doesn't work because all the messages go directly to your cell phone. But you can answer a call or make a call from the base. So you've got the handset and the base that you can make and receive calls from. Now, on the landline version, which is silver, you can actually use the answer machine does work, and you can slow down the conversation on the messages as also when you're talking to someone on the speakerphone.
Yes, thank you for that. That slow button on these telephones, it's been, very well received because people with the hearing loss are having to constantly ask their callers to slow down. And so the person does for the next couple seconds, and then they just speed it back up. So you don't have to ask your caller to slow down anymore. You just press the button on this particular phone. Not all of our phones have it, but this one does. Slow button, you just press it, and the incoming voice is automatically slowed down so that you can understand what they're saying. This is the black one is the one that you can connect to your cell phone. Let me grab the silver one real quick. So this silver one looks just like the black one, right? Just different colors. So this one is just a standard cordless landline phone. So you have to have a landline to use this one, but it does have the slow button just like the black one. It's got the answering machine on the base and the slow button on the base for your messages, like Teresa said. That one's got the extra volume, the flashing lights, the tone control. It's got the talkback feature. So this one has quite a bit of specialized features. So it's been a very popular phone. Anything you want to add, Teresa, before we end our session?
Just a reminder to everyone that there's no age, income, or insurance requirements. And also each person can get a telephone and an accessory. So for example, a household of 5 can get 10 pieces of equipment from us. So we really want to encourage people. We want to challenge you to also think of people that you may know that could qualify, that need our phones or equipment to come and see us.
Yes, there's so many people that don't know we exist. So please help us share the spread the good news. Well, Emily and Kurt, if you guys don't have any questions for us, I think that's all we have for you.
Yeah, that was Kurt, what do you have to say? It was very informational. I don't think I'd ever heard of California phones before I met Teresa, so this was a good way to learn more about it.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, Emily. And remember that there are similar programs through within other states. So if you know of someone that struggles with the hearing loss and you know that they've stopped using their phone, especially during the pandemic, that's how we're able to stay connected. So, don't hesitate to look into that website if you know of someone in other states that need something like this.
What do you have to say, Kurt? Anything on your end?
Yes, I just want to take a quick moment to acknowledge, another podcast that we are starting up. We did our premiere episode last week with The Mission Continues, and next week The Mission Continues for The Mission Continues. Next week we're going to be producing our next one. Justin Jones is the powerhouse veteran behind that show, so we're excited to keep that show going as well. Like I say, it is through our efforts on that new podcast that we cultivated this opportunity here, and I'm ever so excited about it. I started seeing more of this from where I'm at out in Milwaukee, so other organizations like yours that provide this type of thing out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, started seeing it more for myself personally as I participated in the 8825 celebrations from 6+ years ago. So I am seeing this, and I am in the community because I have what I personally call a propensity for autosclerosis. I take Floracal as a preventative for, I believe they call it the bone, I think is called stapes or something. Trying to remember my anatomy, but so I have risks for my hearing, and I have hearing loss myself. When I go to the audiologist, they recommend for me to get a hearing aid, and I haven't done it, not that I'm advising it or anything, but so I'm kind of in this transition in my life because basically the fear for me, which is not valid, but I fear that my hearing experience, like being with you on the podcast, if I had a hearing aid in, I'm just taking a guess that it's going to be, it's going to be altered. And so my hearing experience is going to be different when I do get into using a hearing aid as I should, because they talk to me about how the brain ear connection is so important. So from my own life journey, I have professionals telling me that using this equipment, anatomically is kind of crucial, and to think of it from the perspective of your brain. If we're not using these adjustments to do what we need to do, your brain is losing out,
Exactly.
because if your brain is void of that hearing experience, you lose the comprehension and the function of the brain that participates in that sound audible experience. So very personally rewarding for me to have had this here. Emily, if you could make sure, you said you can show the training brochure, the PDF that was shared. You're able to do a screen share on that, Emily?
Yeah, I was gonna share this with everybody as kind of a brief overview of what Carmen and Teresa talked about. And if you want any more information, here's a phone number and email to contact them.
Thank you. Thank you for putting that up on the screen. And again, just a reminder, this is for California residents, but the trainings have been very popular. We keep them very small. It's a small group, just so that, the attendees, the students have all the attention they need, and they're grasping the information that's being provided to them.
We have these classes now in Chinese, Mandarin, and Cantonese, and hopefully this year we can launch the Spanish version as well.
Spanish would be cool. But I just wanted to thank you two for coming on and sharing what you do about California phones, and to thank everybody else for tuning in, and for all of the activity on our social media pages. We encourage everybody to tune in again next week. And if anybody is interested in being a guest or being invited somehow, to feel free. Reach out to us, and just quickly, a reminder of our 222 event next month, February 22nd, to combat veteran suicide. And I guess until next week, next time. We'll see everybody later.
Thank you, Emily. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank
Emily,
you.
thank you, Kurt. See you again on HNP.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Bye.